Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. We're broadcasting live on the convention floor in the Philadelphia Convention Center for World Meeting of Families. And boy, oh boy, is the action. I can't even describe it. I'm Debbie Georgianni sitting alongside with Jerry Usher, and we are just overwhelmed with joy to see all of the Catholic religious and clergy. Oh my goodness, it's so amazing. We are just really proud to be Catholic today, aren't we, Jerry?
Absolutely. And I've been doing a little more, what do you want to call it, walking around the convention floor, the exhibit hall floor. And it is just really exciting. And you know, the beautiful thing about something like this is I have been running into people that I remember from years ago. And you see the face, and you each look at each other, and you go, Jerry, yeah, Jason, hey, how you doing? And,
one big Catholic family.
Yeah. I just saw Jeremy Reedy from Fort Wayne. So the folks at Redeemer Radio, you're represented here as well. So just a great environment, Deb. Wonderful environment.
This is amazing, truly amazing. And dear listeners, this is just an important time right now to celebrate Catholic Christian families, and that's what we're doing all week. We described the first Monday of the show about what is a family. Then we went on and talked about large families, and now we're going to talk about adoption and foster care and how important that is to be part of a family. This is your opportunity to weigh in, share your takes with us. If you have adopted a child, if you've wanted to adopt a child, if you are just wanting to celebrate the family, call in. Will you do that for us at 1-800-585-9396?
Yeah, you know, we hear a lot about, you'll see the campaign occasionally, adoption, not abortion. Obviously, we should all feel that way. And there are, unfortunately, often many couples, for whatever reason, they choose to adopt, or perhaps they aren't able to conceive. I know Dr. Ray Garendi has 10 children. They are all adopted. The couple that we are staying with, Tom and Susie Coffey, here in the Philadelphia area, they had 3 miscarriages and then made the decision to adopt. So they adopted 3 siblings, and they have just turned out to be the most beautiful, Debbie, successful young adults now. So again, today our topic is adoption and foster care. So we want to hear from you. If you have been down this path, if you, for whatever reason, you chose to adopt a child or more than one child, maybe you've got kids in foster care right now, or you have had in the past, share your experience. This is what Take Two is about. Your calls, your takes drive the program. The number is 1-800-585-9396. 1-800-585-9396.
And I was listening to Tom and Elena broadcasting earlier, and they were sharing how people are walking by the booth, Jerry, yelling, I love EWTN. I'm hoping we get one person that comes by and says that. Not that I'm competitive or anything. Wait.
There we go.
Wait, a little louder, please. There you go. Way to go, guys. Thank you. See, that made my day. Not that I'm competitive or anything.
No. Debbie is probably the least competitive person I've ever met. 1-800-585-9396. Debbie, what we want to do on this show, a lot of Catholic radio shows, have people who are experts, and they are PhDs and doctors and people, all these experienced people and so forth. We want to connect people with their peers. And so today, through the help of our Third Millennium Media's Director of Creative Services, Micah Murphy, we have 2 guests who are going to join us for this opening segment of the show. Husband and wife, and they are adoptive parents. And it's Matt and Mickey Seba from, I believe it's Omaha. Matt and Mickey, welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. How are you?
Hi, thank you.
Hi, I'm
good. Great to have you. You're in Omaha, is that right?
We are actually in Beaumont, Texas.
Beaumont, Texas.
Beaumont, Texas.
Okay.
Very
I just figure anybody Micah knows is from Omaha, so forgive me for that.
That's a good assumption.
Well, and on real quickly, we're celebrating the family, Matt and Mickey, and we're celebrating the family. We're asking our listeners to send in a family photo to take2, the number 2 at EWTN.com. So if you guys can do that, then our listeners can put a visual to the wonderful guests that we have on today. So if you can remember to do that, send it to take number 2 at EWTN.com. And that's open for everybody. We've had so many pictures coming in. I got to look at all the family albums. Oh my goodness, was it amazing. So if you guys can remember that would be great.
All right,
I'll put on that. They'll be on his to-do list. He's our photographer.
Okay.
Good deal. Well, the phone number for people to call in today, adoptive parents, foster care parents. Maybe you were adopted or spent time in a foster family yourself, 1-800-585-9396. So, Matt and Mickey, I'll just let you two decide who's going to go first, but we wanted to have you on for this, at least this opening segment of the show, to just share your experience about being adoptive parents. So you two decide who's going to lead the way here, but we'd love to hear a little bit about it.
Sure. Well, we got married in 2005, and for a long time just struggled with infertility. And we just prayed that God would bless our family. And we decided one year that we were just going to start the adoption process in 2010. So we started with our home study and everything and just told everybody we were looking into adoption. And I was teaching high school religion at the time. And I told my students to pray for us because we were starting the adoption process. Well, it just so happened that one of my students' dad was an OBGYN, and a young lady walked into his office about 31 weeks pregnant, said she wanted to give her baby up for adoption to a Catholic couple. He knew we were looking because his daughter told him, and that's how we sort of got hooked up with our first adoption with our daughter Mary.
One of the miraculous parts of that story is that my brother had a child, his first child, shortly before our daughter Mary was born, and we were celebrating the birth of our first nephew, but we were also kind of heartbroken because we didn't have any kids of our own, and for whatever reason, God had not granted any children to us. And so 2 nights after my nephew was born, we were sitting at the dinner table in tears, just wondering when it would happen for us. And the telephone rings, and of course it was the telephone call. Well, that particular day was the Feast of the Annunciation.
Wow.
And I turned to my wife and said, "This is not a coincidence. If it's a girl, her name will be Mary. End of story. That's it." And
beautiful.
so we named her Mary.
Wow.
That is
Wow.
just beautiful. Matt and Mickey Seba with us here. They are adoptive parents. We're live at the World Meeting of Families. Jerry Usher, Debbie Georgiani. Take two with Jerry and Debbie. If you would like to enter the conversation with your take about being adopted and how that experience was for you, if you have adopted children, we're talking about foster care, foster parenting as well, 1-800-585-9396. So tell us about your family now, Matt and Mickey, how many kids you have, boys, girls, names, and just describe, the joy that you must have at being parents.
Sure. Well, Mary was our first adoption, and she is now 5. She was born on May 5th, 2010. And we hadn't finished the legal part of her adoption yet, and then we found out about our adoptive son, Lucas, actually through Facebook. And my cousin has a child with a genetic disorder, so she's on all these message boards, and our little son, Lucas, his picture came across a message board saying he needed a forever family, and she posted his picture on Facebook and said, "Oh, I wish we could give him a home, pray that he finds a home." And I saw his little picture and just knew he needed to be with us. So right after we finished Mary's legal adoption, we started the process to adopt Lucas. So on November 11th of 2011, we took legal custody of our son Lucas. We went and picked him up in Chicago. He was 14 months old and brought him home. So we had, so they're both 4 months apart. So we have 2 5-year-olds at home right now.
Oh my goodness. So
and we have just loved every minute of it. And God's perfect timing, we found out last year that we were actually pregnant. So after 9 years of infertility and getting help with NAPRO technology, we gave birth to our first son, Samuel, our firstborn son, Samuel, who is now 3 months old. So we have 2 boys and 1 girl.
Wow.
Yes.
So Nikki and Matt, let me ask you. So you're Mary and Lucas. They're 4 months apart. They get along well?
As much as brothers and sisters do.
That's getting along well. So they love really passionately and they fight really passionately, right?
Yes.
They do.
Oh, that's beautiful. And then you gave birth to Samuel. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
What a celebration. What an amazing family coming together and growing in such a God-driven way. This is an amazing story. You guys need to write your story down. Oh, we got another EWTN lover just went by the booth. How exciting is that? So, Mickey, share with us. Have you guys? I mean, are you kind of in that moment where you're just going, "Wow, is this really happening to us?"
I've had many moments like that. I mean, it is, God has basically had his hand on all of it. And when we look at our story, and I go back and just sort of think about all the experiences, you can see God's hand over the whole thing. And sometimes I just wonder, why has he chosen us and blessed us in this way? And I will never doubt the existence or love of God ever again, because it's evident in the children he has given to us. And just the experiences. We had wonderful adoption experiences and have nothing but love for our children's birth parents. And adoption is such a great gift, and we've been blessed with that, and we've also been blessed with being able to naturally bear children. And I don't know, it's just been an amazing experience, and I think every day I'm in awe of the blessings that we have.
Beautiful.
Well, yeah, and Matt and Mickey, before we let you go, if you could each just take, 30 seconds, 60 seconds from your hearts to any people who may be listening right now, especially maybe young couples who, like yourselves, married, open to a family, looking so forward to it, maybe some obstacles in the way to conceiving and so forth. What would you say to them to just say, consider the adoption option, as they say?
Adoption is just an amazing experience. I have nothing but profound regard for the women who decided that they would give their children up for adoption, and it's changed my life completely.
Wow.
Sometimes, for whatever reason, people can't conceive. For those who want to try, there's the Caritas clinics across the country that use the NAPRO technology. But even if that doesn't work, I've had so many friends who have experienced adoption who were not able to conceive, who they've changed the lives of those children, and their own lives have been changed in the process.
And I think it's actually a quote from Pope Benedict, who said, "We are not called to be comfortable. We're called to a life of greatness." And I think sometimes it's being open to how God is working in your life. And I think sometimes it can be fearful, knowing that you're going to be responsible for raising a soul, basically, that God has loaned you, and you want to take the best care of it. So that can be scary and tough, sort of making those decisions. But I just encourage everyone to just be open, to really pray about it. And there's so many ways you can adopt, going through an agency, doing independent adoptions, out-of-country adoptions, special needs adoptions. Our second son is a special needs adoption, and just being open to allowing God to bless you in that way, and not letting fear be what holds you back, because God's going to carry you through every obstacle that comes. But I would just say constant prayer, constant discernment, and trust in God and his divine Father.
God's providence. You guys are an amazing couple, an amazing family. Please remember to send that photo of you two and Mary and Lucas and Samuel. You guys have been a blessing to us. You've shared a lot. It touched, I'm sure, thousands of people listening today. God bless your beautiful Seba family. And we just want to thank you so very much for taking the time today on Take Two. We can't say thank you enough. You really helped us and you really inspired us. And that's what Take Two with Jerry and Debbie is supposed to be all about. So I know we got to get ready for a break. I thought I heard the music, but then it went away. Did the music go away? Am I in heaven?
Matt and Mickey, thank you so much. Blessings to you and your 3 little ones. May God give you many more if that is His will and your heart's desire. God bless you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget to send the picture. I love visual
Take two
pictures.
at EWTN.com.
You're right.
Yeah.
The number 2.
Take the number 2.
Take 2?
Yeah, take 2.
Hey,
I think that's what show this is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Hey, I'm just keeping count, okay?
All right.
So for Tom Price, I'm just keeping count. I think we've had 4, and Elena, 4 people that have gone by said they loved EWTN booth. I'm just making sure. You hear that beautiful music. We're going to roll the break on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're going to be right back. Stay with us. We're talking about foster care, adoption. We're celebrating the
60
family.
Seconds with Father Mitch Pacwa.
Jesus told us as a command, not as, would you guys mind going out and preaching the gospel? It'd be okay. He didn't say that. What he said is, go and preach the gospel. He said, if you got time, no, he wasn't hesitant at all. This is urgent. Get out there. People need good news. They're committing sins. They're getting themselves ready for hell. They're working for the enemy, and they don't even know it. They're using drugs and other deadly things. They're committing murder. Go out and preach the good news. He commands it. And this always maintains its vital value. There's no time where, that was sort of an old part of our culture. We don't do that anymore. That's not my Bible. My Bible doesn't say that it's a part of the old culture. This is part of today's culture. Amen? Amen.
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
Hi, this is Tim Staples from Catholic Answers Live. Thanks for listening to the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Jerry Usher, Debbie Georgiani. It is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. Time to get to your phone calls. Lines, as they always are on this show, very, very busy right now. 1-800-585-9396. Share your experience, your take on adoption, foster care. It can be a beautiful, beautiful thing. And as I know from not my own personal experience, but from a very dear friend of mine, fostering can also bring a great cross. And if I have, if it comes up, the opportunity, I'll just mention some of the details about that. But some of these, kids who are adopted, especially a little bit older, as adolescents, may have, they may bring a lot of scars and a lot of wounds and a lot of baggage into the family. And I had a very good friend who just suffered very, very horribly and unjustly. But I don't mention that to bring the show down. I just want to say that, this is, there's 2 sides to this coin here. We want to, of course, focus on the positive today. So, again, if you've had experience with adoption or foster care, get a hold of us here at 800-585-9396. Okay, to your phone calls. Ken is up first in Indianapolis or somewhere in Indiana. Ken, I don't know exactly where you are in Indiana, but welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Okay, we got to get Ken on the air. There we go. Hi, Ken. How you doing?
Hi, good morning.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I'm in Elkhart, Indiana on a lake right now listening to you. And it's
all right.
It's a wonderful time to be listening to EWTN right now with all that's going on with the Pope and the family.
For sure.
It's wonderful. But I wanted to call, and I just wanted to say we had an unusual experience, what I thought was unusual, but after listening to Nick and Matt having a child contact them, we had a little girl walk up to us and said, she'd known us for about 2 hours in the world, and she said, I need a foster family. Will you be my foster family? And we weren't expecting that. We weren't in the foster program. We had actually enrolled in foster training when we were living on a different part of the country, and decided, this is pretty heavy, taking children in, giving them back, putting them back in bad situations. We have to find a different way to give back to life. But so we moved, and the first thing that happens is a little girl walks up to us and says, "Will you be my foster family?"
Oh my goodness!
It was, what can I say? It took our breath away. We walked out of the house where this girl had asked us. We told her we would think about that very seriously. Got halfway across the parking lot, and I felt my wife's arm, or her hand on my arm, and I looked at her, and her face, said it all. Like, yes, we will take care of this child, and I agreed. And after a year and a half of fostering, we adopted her once she had been removed from the custody or the legality of her birth mother. And when you say that some of these children come with a lot of baggage, they do. The child has led the first half of her life in hell on earth, and we have gotten her as much help as we can, and she has worked as hard as she can. And, you don't have to love or want to be friends with someone you forgive. And she was able to realize that, and then was presented with the opportunity when her birth mother walked up to her one day, and she was able to say what she needed to her birth mom. Her birth mom cried and asked forgiveness, and she did. And she forgave her mom, and it has made it settled something in her. I mean, when you come from the horror that she lived in, you have to kind of get through all that on an earthly plane, and then just forgive. Between you, me, and God, I'll forgive you, but I still don't want to be with you anymore.
Wow.
So that was our experience.
Can I ask you a question? Because keep in mind, we're on the exhibit floor of the Philadelphia Convention Center, so there's a lot of background noise, and I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. So when your little girl found you, because that's what she did, she found you, how old was she when she came up to you?
She was 8 years old.
Oh, my
goodness. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. That is an amazing story. What a beautiful, beautiful story.
Yes, you're right. It is. And she was always we promoted her being a self-advocate. She's had some issues with learning, and she's had to be a self-advocate. And she's done a very good job, and she's in college now. She's moved on, and she's in college, still living at the house. Going to try out the first year of college in her bedroom at the house. But she seems to be well-equipped to move into the world, and she's gotten past a lot of what was behind her.
Exactly, and she sounds like a strong woman, a strong young woman who has an incredible heart of love and forgiveness, exactly what our Holy Father is professing to all of us. And how beautiful is that? God bless you, Ken. What an amazing family story.
Yeah, what a great call to start our call segment of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Thanks, Ken. We appreciate it. We got a break coming up in about a minute, so we'll let you go on that. We've got, a lot of people on the line. Heather, Jamie, Deacon Carey, and some guy named Dr. Ray, I think, is on the line.
Not our Dr. Ray.
I don't know. We will find out.
I hope it's Dr. Ray Garindy.
Well, it says he has 10 adopted kids, so that may be.
It might be.
We'll find out on the other side of a short break here. Our number, 1-800-585-9396. We are live on the floor of the exhibit hall at the World Meeting of Families. It's Family Week on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
So we want you to stay with us, but this is an important time for us as Catholic Christians. So if you're listening right now, there's no accident. Stay listening. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, we're going to get to the more phone calls, and we're going to still going to be celebrating the family. So don't forget to send in your photo. Take take2 at EWTN.com. Where's that glorious music?
Right there.
I can hear it. There it is. I'm not going to get clipped this time. Stay with us on Take 2.
EWTN is now on Twitter. Get short, timely messages from EWTN on your computer or cell phone. It's easy to stay up to date on a wide variety of topics. Pro-life news, Vatican announcements, catechesis, apologetics, the latest EWTN programming, and more. You can link to EWTN on Twitter from our homepage or go to twitter.com/EWTN. At work, at home, at school, and on the road. Stay connected to your world with EWTN's Twitter page.
60 Seconds with Mother Angelica.
Now, when you've got Jesus in your heart, then only can you see and find your real self. You know why? Because you're not afraid to look at yourself. You're not going around pretending you're something you're not. If you're an angry person, you got the guts to say, I am an angry person, but with the grace of God and the power of His Spirit. The power of Spirit. I can become like who? Like Jesus. Not like me. Not like the best in me, but like Jesus in me. You see, it's very, very important that when you go around looking for yourself, that you try to find out who you are, that you have Jesus in your heart.
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
I begin every day asking God for help. I ask the Holy Spirit to show me the way. As journalists, we have a responsibility. As Catholic journalists, we have an even greater one. That's why I do this, because it's so much more than just news, sports, and weather. It's Christ-centered conversation.
Morning Glory with Brian Patrick. Weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern. Streaming online and heard worldwide on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
All right, take two with Jerry and Debbie at the World Meeting of Families on EWTN. 1-800-585-9396. All of our topics this week are about the family. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the family under attack. And then Friday, the topic is celebrate the family. So be ready to call in the next couple of days, especially Friday, with just how happy you are, how blessed you are with family and family life and the way God has designed it to be, and just any kind of special things that you and your family do to be a cohesive unit. But for right now, we're going to go back to the telephone calls. Please appreciate the patience of all of you. Dr. Ray has called in to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and I know it's really just to kind of promo his show, which comes up next, but I think he might have a little something to say about adoption, too. Ray, how are you?
Jerry, Deb, how you doing out there?
Good, Dr. Ray. Guess what? I had an amazing home-cooked Italian meal in New Jersey last night.
Well, I will tell you, it wasn't really an Italian meal unless you ate the whole time you were there.
We did. It was at Gina Rodeo's house. You remember Gina?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so.
I just had to share that, Dr. Ray. We're so glad you joined us. Yeah, and you are an expert in this topic. I mean, share with us. I mean, how can we celebrate the families who have adopted and who have chosen foster care?
The statistics say that right now, approximately 1% of pregnant single moms place their baby for adoption. 1%. That is an incredible act of love by the birth mom. Many of them are in high-risk situations. 3 of my children were to be probably aborted. 1 was at the abortion clinic. So as a result, we always tell the kids, your birth mom made the greatest act of love. Thing we stress all the time. Sometimes people will say, well, how did you adopt 10 children? Kind of like eating potato chips. You always think you can eat one more until you get a bellyache.
Wow.
Dr. Ray Garendi with us here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Dr. Ray, we had, I don't know if you were listening at the start of the show, a young couple, Matt and Mickey Seba. They are in Beaumont, Texas. They adopted 2 kids. One is special needs, their second one, and then they conceived after that. I have heard so many times, Dr. Ray, when couples have difficulty conceiving, they decide to be open to adoption, even in, like I said, special needs or difficult situations, and then God will bless them with the gift of fertility after a certain period of time. You probably have heard stories like that as well.
We were told that, Jerry. We were told that. The problem is, I had a condition called Sertoli only cell syndrome. It was a congenital problem from birth. The urologist said, if you get pregnant, go on the afternoon talk shows because it's a miracle. Now, the problem was, my grandmother was very happy that it was Sertoli because she thought the guy was Italian.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. Amazing story. I just have to, real quickly, Doctor, I just want to ask a quick question. We always love to do this, so we do this with everyone that calls in. Can you run down the list of your 10 children real fast from top to bottom?
Andrew, Hannah, Jonathan, Joanna, Sarah, Samuel, James, Mary, Peter, and Elizabeth.
Very good.
Wow. You know what? That's the first ever who's not had to take a breath.
Well, Dr. Ray can say a lot without taking a breath.
I have to tell you, though, can I brag for a second?
Sure.
Had one of those things that, parents fluff themselves up with. My children's parole officer said some of the nicest kids he had.
That's good to know. That's good to know,
Yeah,
Dr.
I
Ray.
feel good about that. It makes you fluff up,
I know. Well, don't get too prideful. That's a sin, Dr. Ray.
I just wanted to visit with you guys. Have a great time there.
Oh,
all right.
Bless you, Dr. Ray. Thank you for all you do, and have a beautiful rest of the week. Thanks for calling in.
All righty, bye.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, 1-800-585-9396. Thank you all for your patience. We're going to go back to the telephones. Heather in Portland, Oregon, listening on Mater Dei Radio. Hi, Heather.
She gets our Patience Award.
That's right.
She
They
does?
all do today.
Yeah.
How you doing, Heather?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great.
Good. It's so nice to be with you. What a wonderful time to be Catholic in America.
Isn't
Amen.
it? Amen.
Well, I just wanted to call today. I thought, there's no coincidences with God. There's only God incidences, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am an adult adoptee, and today is my mom's birthday. And so I thought, I need to call and honor her and my father for being open to taking on a little girl from foster care when she was 3 weeks old, and that baby was me. So I just wanted to say happy birthday to my mother, and thanks be to God for my birth mother, because as Dr. Ray said, it's a very big temptation to do what looks like maybe the easy thing. And back then, we were in 1976, right? And Roe versus Wade had been passed, and my birth mother could definitely have chosen the other part. But I'm so very grateful to her. And then I'm grateful to my adoptive parents, Dick and Marion Anderson, for taking me into their home and raising me in the faith. So thank God for adoption.
Wow. Heather, I have to tell you, so many times when somebody shares their story, there'll be those few that just pop out, and I get total Holy Spirit goosebumps, and I get very emotional, and yours is one of them. When you said you wanted to honor, that just is so amazing. You're such an inspiration to all of us, and how beautiful it is that you can feel your heart as you're speaking, and that's a gift. And it really sounds like that you have been blessed all around you with love, and I'm so happy for you. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, thank you so much, Debbie. I didn't always choose to accept that love, and that's one of those things, is that we were made to be loved, and we were made to accept love. And sometimes as an adopted child, you don't necessarily understand that you are loved unconditionally, because it can be a difficult thing to come to terms with the fact that you were given up. But what does Scripture tell us? That no greater love has someone than to lay down their life. And I really believe that that's what my biological mother did, was she really laid down her life for me to grow within her and then giving me up because she knew that someone else could give me a better chance at life than she had the ability to at the time as a college student. And so I'm just very grateful that through the mercy of God that I've been able to have that grace and understand of his unconditional love for me. And a lot of that was learned through my adoptive parents.
Right, right. I just have to say something real quickly, Heather. I just wanted to jump in real fast. Pardon me, Jerry, but I'm very big on words because words have so much power. And I've often said that in the English language, I mean, so many things are changing all the time anyway. We might as well change some of our English language words. And I have to tell you, it takes on a whole new meaning. Like when we talk about cancer survivors, I like to say cancer thrivers because that's different. You're staying in a much more positive vein rather than talking about the devastation of cancer. I just want to share with you that I've often said we should, instead of saying that parents give up their children, parents have gifted their children. They've gifted their children. And you were a gift. You are a gift. And the words, I really believe in my heart of hearts that the words are super powerful, and they transmit deep meanings to people that inspire people and make people move. So I don't know if that resonates with you, Heather, but your biological mom gifted you to your adoptive parents.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. And I definitely affirm what you're saying about words because God created the world with his words. And if we are made in his image and likeness, then what can we create with our words? So thank you for saying that, Debbie. I will definitely remember that the next time I'm telling my story.
There you go.
Great, Heather. Thanks for joining us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We appreciate it.
Oh.
All right. Let's move right along here. A lot of calls. I mean, the lines are just jammed here. What a beautiful topic. Thank you all for sharing not just your takes, but your hearts today. Deacon Carey in Omaha, Nebraska, listening on Spirit FM is next. Hello, Deacon Carey. How are you?
I guess good morning here. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, yes. Thank you so much for calling.
My stories, as all, I think, are a bit unique in that the standard thing was that our wife and I were not able to conceive, and we adopted 3 children, but we have somewhat of an ecumenical family in kind of the proper order of things as far as the world is concerned between Judaism, Catholicism, and Protestant Christianity. That our first child came from a Jewish attorney friend of mine, our second child came from the Catholic Charities, and the third child came from a Protestant Christian attorney friend of mine. So other than the Muslim faith, we got all the major faiths covered as far as our adoptions were concerned. And then our youngest son fathered a child out of wedlock, we thought, and so when he was born, he had significant difficulties and was given 24 to 48 hours to live. And so within 2 hours of his birth, after they hooked all the tubes to him and the wires and that, I baptized him in the hospital. And then my wife had prepared for a funeral. But lo and behold, as the time went on, we would go there every day. I would go twice a day, and he just kept fighting, and eventually, 9 weeks later, they were getting ready to release him, and the birth mother was found unfit. So they said that we could take him, and we prepared for that. And then we got the prognostication of how he's going to be, and they said that he may never feed himself, may not be able to see or hear or walk. We have to give him total care. And at the time, I was 55 years of age. And I looked at my wife. I said, when he's 15, I'm going to be 70. He's going to be 150 pounds. And I don't think we're the right people for him. So we were going to give him up to the to the Nebraska Children's Home and institutionalize him. And 3 hours later, a beautiful couple came up and said they would take him, unbeknownst to us at the time when we chose that we didn't think we were proper for him. And turned out this couple had fostered one child and adopted it, and had 3 of their own biological children. They're all girls. He wanted to adopt another child, maybe a 5 or 6 year old girl. Instead, they got a 3-month-old boy who had very severe medical problems. And last week he was over here. He's going to turn 7 this week, and his mom brought him over here to be with us for a while overnight, and we got to spend time with them. And so it was a great moment. And the hard part about all this was that we found out about a year after his birth that our son was not the father of the child, but we already bonded with him and his sister so tightly that they're all our we just call them all of our foster grandkids now.
Oh my! Wow.
Yeah, you know, Deacon Carey, I'm just, and in all of our calls, but especially this one, Deacon, you know, generosity is the name of the game.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm hearing, Deacon Carey, you and your wife and your whole family. I mean, it just sounds like there is just such an openness to, you know, I mean, everybody is worthy of a home. And it's a tragedy and a scandal that there could be even one child somewhere in the world that has to suffer in isolation, in loneliness, without a family. It's human nature. It's the situation of the world. We understand that. But Debbie, for people like Deacon Carey and his family to help make it better for some kids, and even regardless of some of the circumstances that he shared right there, I mean,
right.
This is just
it's
tremendous.
It's a
love.
multiplication of love. I mean, you're just spreading love, and you just have to. I mean, you know, Deacon, you know this. I mean, given that you're clergy, God's got to be shining down and saying, you know, thank you for expanding that love. And that's beautiful. It's a beautiful story, a beautiful testament. And it does, you know, I'm going to go back to the Holy Father. I couldn't sleep last night, and I read all night about some of the things that our Holy Father's been saying, and he just keeps saying the same things, that to go out there and to really be Christ to others, and to serve others, and to love others, and to help others. And I really believe in my heart of hearts that's what adoption does so well, and that's what foster care does so well. And even, you know, I even tell people all the time, if you can't have children of your own and you're not in a place to be an adoptive parent or foster care, how about being a great aunt or uncle or you know, somebody very involved in a child's life? So Deacon Carey, thank you first of all for your vocation, and thank you for your great story today on Take Two.
Oh, you're welcome. Just maybe one last parting word, if I might. For the fathers of adopted children, and maybe for both parents, two things. One is the fact is that when you have adopted children, many times their lives are a mystery, and so instead of having heredity to back up your knowledge on, you have to kind of fly by the seat of your pants, because you find out things about your children that are unknown to you because there's no history for you to go back onto. And then the part that was most difficult for me as an adoptive father to get over was the fact is that, you know, looking into the eyes of my children whom I love dearly, I knew that their DNA didn't come from me, but the love did, and so that was a bit of a struggle that you know, I think one has to work through when they adopt children, is that you know, your blood may not flow through them, but your love does.
Yeah, Deacon Carey, thank you for your call. We appreciate that. That is a fantastic point. Bless you. Thank you for your ministry. I echo what Debbie said. We've got a lot of calls to get to, so we'll move on. I just wanted to comment on that real quick, and that is, you know, there's kind of two sides to that coin. Tragically, we have a lot of parents whose DNA is in their children, and they reject them and don't love them and abandon them. Conversely, you have a situation like adoptive parents where your DNA may not be in them, but I think it's an even greater act of love if you take them in when you know that, you know, you didn't, they're not really your biological offspring, but they're the fruit of your love. You know? And
That's
so,
right.
All right, Deacon Carey, thanks. Jamie, also in Omaha, listening on Spirit FM. We're going to go to Jamie next here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
Thanks for waiting. You've been a real trooper today. What's your take about adoption or foster care?
We were foster parents for a few years, but right after we got licensed, about a month after we got licensed, we didn't have any placements yet, and so we were doing respite, so kind of like babysitting for other foster kids and families. And we were on our way to the daycare center to pick up this little girl that was 20 months old. And on our way there, I got a phone call from our agency, and they said that there was a little baby boy who was born 2 days before, and he was supposed to go home, but for some reason he couldn't go home and he needed to go into foster care, and they asked if we could take him. At the time, we were living in the house and only had one room to spare, and boys and girls can't share rooms, so we brought that up, and they said, well, actually, it's the sibling of the little girl you're going to be watching this weekend. And so they can share a room. And we're like, well, okay. So I looked over at my husband. We're in the car. And I said, should we do this? And he said, sure. So we said we would take in this little baby boy and continue to do respite for this little girl for the weekend. And I asked, well, when do we need to get him? And they said, now. And I said, okay. Well, do we need a car seat or anything? Or do you provide that? And they said, no, you need a car seat. So I said, well, I guess we'll pick up his sister and then go to Target, and then we can pick him up. And they said, okay. So we went and picked her up, and then we went to Target. It was about 100 degrees out. We didn't know what we were doing, but we figured out how to put the car seat in the car, and then we went and picked him up. And anyway, so we had him for about 19 months, and it was a very emotional journey because his parents would make good choices, and then they would fall off the train for a while, and it wouldn't look good, but better for us to keep him. And but eventually, his parents decided it was best to relinquish their rights, and we got to adopt him 19 months after we got placed with him. But his sister got adopted by her biological family, so unfortunately they're not together, but we never had kids before, and it was a good learning experience.
So you've adopted your son then? Your son's with you?
Yes, we adopted him when he was 19 months old.
19. So how old is he now?
He's 3.
He's 3. Oh, my goodness. Can you send us a family picture to the Take Two at EWTN.com? We'd love to see your family. And I have to say something, Jamie. You have an amazing sense of adventure. I just love, Jerry and I were just chuckling when you were talking about the car seat. And you said, well, we just went to Target and we got the car seat. We figured out how to put it in. I love your sense of adventure. I mean, that is going to take you many, many places in this world because God, I personally believe, this is the word according to Debbie, that God loves an adventurer. I mean, you look at our apostles, look at what Jesus did. I mean, to go into areas that are uncertain, not sure what the future holds, but to kind of embrace it moment to moment, that's a gift, Jamie. You and your husband are very blessed.
Yes, we are. We love him a lot.
That's amazing. Can you send one of those pictures? I'm such a visual person. I love to. Okay, cool. Take 2, the number 2 at EWTN. And that's open to everyone. Please, we're getting lots and lots of family pictures. But we would love and attach your name, Jamie, so we can make sure that everyone knows that you were the call that came in today.
Sure.
Thanks, Jamie. Bless your heart and your little family there too. May God continue to shower His love upon all of you. 1-800-585-9396. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, live from the marketplace, the exhibit hall at the World Meeting of Families. We're going to go next to Paul. Paul has been holding patiently as well, a little bit kind of across the state from Omaha in Lincoln, Nebraska, also listening on Spirit FM. Hi, Paul.
Hi there. How are you?
Pretty well. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. I'm calling to give just a quick example of how God, works with us to cooperate with us to create life, and not only through natural childbirth, but also through foster care. Mm-hmm. My wife and I were actually married for 7 years before we were able to have our own child. So when we first got married, we were young. We thought, well, we'll have kids right away, and that didn't happen. We went ahead and volunteered at a wonderful school for kids with special needs called Villa Marine. It's run by the Marion sisters here in Waverly, Nebraska. And we did that for a couple of years, and we thought, we were ready to have kids, and it just didn't happen for us. And the Marion sisters said, well, you know what, we're going to pray for you. So for a couple of years we helped them, and when we couldn't do that anymore, we just kind of kept trying and trying, and we did like everybody else did. We'd cry when other people got pregnant and wonder why it wasn't happening for us, and it brought a lot of stress. But I was willing to bet that they were still praying for us, and after 6 years we decided, you know what, we should try foster care. And we didn't know how that was going to work, but we had a little girl, a very special little girl that was just, fiery and every day was a challenge, but 3 months after getting her in our home, we were expecting. And we now have 6 children. So for 7 years, we really struggled. And when I don't know why God decided that was the time for us, but it felt to us like, well, we're cooperating with Him. We're trying to do, we're trying to help life, and we're trying to take care of kids. And it seemed like that with the Marian sisters praying and us cooperating, and the prayer was finally answered. And we were so thankful to them for praying for us that our 5th child, our daughter, we've been named Marian just to kind of honor them and say thank you. And this little girl now, no matter how shy she might be with some people are at, whenever she sees a sister with a gray habit, she's 3 and she'll say those are Marian sisters.
She should be here, Paul, at the World Meeting of Families. We've probably seen a few hundred sisters in habits and priests and bishops. Paul, thanks for your call. We're running short on time here, but I wanted to thank you for calling in. And something that's always kind of occurred to me, Debbie, when we hear stories like Paul's and the others, we had Matt and Mickey Seba on at the start of the show, unable to conceive. They go to adoption or foster care, and then eventually God does grant them the gift of conception and fertility. Right. And I don't mean this in any universal, strict sense. I just sometimes wonder, and God does this in all areas of our lives, not just parents wishing to have kids, but God kind of is looking at us and sort of waiting for us to show, hey, God, we are open. We are open to whatever your will is. And for parents who want kids, they just say, God, if we can't have our own, we want to honor and bless your little creations by bringing them into our family. And God says, okay, I see that you are ready for this. You're on board, Right. And again, I don't mean that in any universal sense, because I'm not saying it's necessarily a test of God in every case. But I know in my own life there have been times when I prayed for things, I thought things were God's will. Maybe they didn't work out, and then God just wants to know, are we going to persevere? And then finally he says, okay.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
like Abraham and Sarah almost.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's my takeaway.
Yeah, that's your takeaway.
I beat you.
All right, you did. You did. Kate and Ramona and the others, please forgive us. Keep the conversation going on EWTN Catholic Radio Facebook. Like us on Facebook. Also, take2show.com. Send your pictures in to take2 at EWTN.com. Tomorrow, we're going to continue to celebrate the families at the Philadelphia Convention Center here at beautiful World Meeting of Families. You don't want to miss it, but until then, have a beautiful and blessed day.